I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think I've told this story on here before, but I did announcements in high school. And the people I did announcements with were like, I'm not doing it. I'm not saying under God. That's bullshit. But I wanted the stage time. And I was like, I don't agree with it, but I'll say it.
Awesome.
And I was like, I'll fall on this sword since none of you want to do it. And then I was like, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And look at them now. Nowhere.
Actually,
and look at you.
They're
Saying
doing
the
both.
Pledge of Allegiance.
They're both like small business owners. They're doing very well.
Katie, cut that out, Harry.
Yeah, cut that out. Yeah. Now, we're opening this segment with the Pledge of Allegiance because we have an American Paralympian, Samantha Bosco, here with us in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Gold medal
winning.
Are you different now?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could fit through the door with the ego I currently have.
If I had a gold medal, I think I'd be weird to people.
I think I would be too.
I would wear it all the time.
Yeah.
I did bring it.
Okay, wait. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. It's in the room with us now.
I'm like feeling the buzz from it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I guess I have a question for you, and it's going to come off a little bit rude. Where the fuck is your helmet? Those helmets are so wild.
Yes.
Yes. And I wore a new one that looks even more ridiculous when you're not riding a bike. So every time I was walking around, I tried to keep my head forward so that it didn't look as silly.
Unbelievable.
That's insane. Well, I guess we should. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, your pronouns.
Your pronouns.
Yes. Yeah. The helmet isn't with me because it doesn't fit in the bag like the medal does. So we
need bigger medals.
Totally
Yes. But I'm Samantha Bosco, and I'm she/her, and I'm a Paralympic cyclist, and I've been with Team USA for over a decade now. But now I feel old saying it. So
wow, that's awesome.
No,
I think we are the same age.
We are the same age.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
It's just that you're
Yes.
an Olympian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paralympian.
Yes,
Paralympian.
Paralympian. When I
A multi-time too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I went
you
to
were in
Rio.
Paris and you were in Rio.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how'd you get started in cycling?
Oh gosh. I started riding my bike around 6 years old because my dad and I rode to and from school, which I recently found out was 6 miles one way. So kudos to little Sam.
Hell yeah.
No.
Yeah, but we ended up loving it so much that we got mountain bikes, started racing and riding with Arctic Bicycle Club, which was about a mile from where we lived at the time in Alaska at Kincaid Park, and loved every second of it. Minus the moose on the trail that you had to wait for.
Stop. I mean, also the fact that you are the most interesting person I've ever met. Born in Alaska, biked that much as a child, and you're a gold medalist. This is awesome.
Yeah,
This is awesome.
Thank you.
It's really
Because there's 5 people born in Alaska annually, is that right?
Oh, I have no idea. That might be high.
What's the best part about living in Alaska?
Everything.
Really?
Yeah, I loved everything about it. I loved racing my bike and just exploring new trails. My family and I would go get ice cream almost every week there. It was just such a small knit community that everybody felt like family, and I could walk to my friends' houses, watch movies all night long, and every time I rode a bike during a race, people would come by the trail and encourage me or help me in one section. My mom was going around filming. My dad was racing too. Like it was really, really fun. It was just a community that made it everything it was.
That's really cool.
Do you still have family in Alaska?
No.
Gotcha.
No, my parents were born in upstate New York and at some point decided that they didn't want to do winter anymore. And then moved back to New York when I was going through all the surgeries I had, and then decided that they just didn't like snow at all. So they decided to move too. And then I followed them that time. Yep. They couldn't get rid of me that easy.
Yeah. I'm coming with you.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you did you try a bunch of different events before you what is the cycling process like? Did you mountain bike? How did you choose which event was like, this is mine?
Oh man, I think it was just cycling in general because we started with mountain biking, and then we started to get into the road scene with crits. At the time, it was parking lot crits, which a crit is basically a lap that's less than a mile, and you go for time.
Oof.
And right when we were starting to transition to mountain bike and road is when I had surgery to lengthen my leg and spent 3 years on crutches, and then took up rowing afterwards because I didn't think I could ride a bike again. And rowing was a form of physical therapy for me. And I fell in love with that sport, which oddly enough was the second most grueling sport I've ever done. And it is the only sport that originated as a form of capital punishment. We had shirts made in college.
Oh,
Wait, are you
I
serious?
did not
I did
know
not
that.
know that.
Please fact check me because I say it and I'm not sure if it's actually true.
No, it's true now.
No, I think
That's
it's rowing
true.
and beer pong. Those are the two.
Yes.
Well, they're difficult, but yeah.
And then when I couldn't row anymore in college because of the knee pain, I kind of spiraled a little bit because I've always identified as an athlete, and my dad got me back on a road bike. And then I started racing again because I am so competitive. We don't play board games in my house. And found out about para in 2012 we were watching the women's Olympic road race, and my friend joked and said, you could be there. At least I thought he was joking because I turned around and was like, I have a leg and a half on a good day. How do you expect me to be there? And he said, there's Paralympics. And that was the opening of the door.
That's really cool.
That's amazing. So once you start going through the surgery you mentioned, you were just off a bike, or would you do it occasionally, or that moment where you're like, no, I'm going to rowing?
Oh, no, I was completely off a bike. It was supposed to be 3 months because the doctors go in and surgically break your leg. And then there's basically rods attached to the top and bottom of the leg. And you basically pull it apart.
Wow.
Little bits at a time so that it can lengthen because your bone grows back together. And it didn't go quite as planned. And I ended up spending the 3 years on crutches, had a dozen surgeries, had an Alizaroff brace put on at one point, and tried to bring my foot up. Found out my growth plate was accidentally scraped. I have nerve damage.
Oh my God.
From my knee down. And my right leg is still an inch shorter because I had to have my left leg surgically stunted because of the growth plate getting scraped. And my right leg is muscularly weaker than my left.
Gotcha.
So I took up rowing actually because I had big shoulders from being on crutches for 3 years. And my mom didn't quite know that it was a full body sport or as full of a body sport as it is.
It really is.
Yeah. And I have a little bit of movement in my ankle still. It's kind of mostly bone on bone, but I have a few degrees of flexion. And so rowing was a form of physical therapy because on the ergs, I could adjust for the leg length discrepancy. So I could just push off and that would keep the movement in my ankle. And I just fell in love with that too. So
yeah.
What's the
tried to pursue
strongest
that.
part of your body?
My heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
That's beautifully said.
When we're lucky enough to get athletes in here, I ask them kind of perverted questions about like how much they can lift and stuff like that.
Perfect.
I do.
We're
like
going to
that.
get along very well.
So if you ever want to tell me, you can. This is a safe space. Would love to hear about your squatting.
Over 200 actually, but I can't squat all the way down because I don't have forward plane of motion in my right leg because of how my ankle is fused. So I actually have to do it very interesting with a wedge under my right foot and my left leg on a plate to raise it up a little bit and actually squat to a certain degree knee bend. So I can't squat all the way down. So I can't pistol squat or anything like that, but I can squat now. Finally, I got to figure it out.
But also I love
ago.
that you're like
200 pounds.
200. But I yeah, please.
I'm over competitive, so that's not strong enough for me because my
Okay.
husband can do way more and I'm jealous of it. So
Because he's
working.
also a writer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cyclist.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Rider.
We met at a bike race in Wisconsin actually when I started paracycling. And he's the reason I came out to California, but he started BMX racing the year that I got hurt in 21 and went from a road cyclist to a mountain bike or to BMX, which is completely different structure. It's kind of like marathon runner versus track and field sprinters.
Oof.
So he can He can squat and deadlift a lot more than I can, and I'm not happy about it. I mean, I'm happy about it because let's
Yeah.
face it, I
No,
like muscle,
I
but
hear
I'm not
that.
happy about it.
Yeah, if my partner beat me at anything, I
Yeah.
would have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were playing Mario Kart at one point, Mario Party. We were racing cars,
Uh-huh.
and he was beating me, and he looked over at me. He asked me, "Are you having fun?" And I was like, "No." So we don't play anymore.
Yeah, I kind of don't play tennis with my wife because she beats me
Yeah.
all the time.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was that?
My wife. Sorry.
We
It's a
have
pod rule.
We have a rule.
Yes.
When you were mountain biking, were you doing like? Could you do like jumps and stuff? Are you doing those tracks that are like super aerial?
No, at least I don't remember if I did any jumps,
Okay.
but no. And I got really afraid of doing jumps ever because my mom and dad were on a bike ride, and my mom came home once with her whole side of her face scraped up and her wrist
Fuck.
messed up because she went down a section that my dad told her not to do.
Uh-oh.
And she was like, "Screw you, I'm going to do it anyways."
Well, that's how you got it,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
Yeah,
exactly.
that's-
I
I
got
feel
it
like-
from my mom,
Yeah.
100%.
Uh-huh.
Turns out it was BMX jumps, and mountain bikes aren't designed for BMX jumps, and so she went over the bars and fell.
Oh.
And my dad came riding up to her when he found her and was like, "You think you could ride home?"
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, so I got a little afraid of any kind of jump because that was brutal.
This is a really specific question, maybe, but like, there's always this mental jump of, okay, so you hear about the Paralympics and then you're like, fuck, I'm going to do this. What was the first phone call you made? Like, how did you actually start the process? Do you remember?
No, I mean, I started paracycling in 2013, not with the idea of going to any Paralympic Games because I didn't really truly understand any of that level. I just
Mhm.
wanted to race my bike, and I thought it was cool that I got to race people with similarities because I race able-bodied too.
Mhm.
But then I got to travel,
Mhm.
and that was fun.
Oh,
And
cool.
wearing red, white, and blue was fun. So for me, it was just getting to race because I just love racing. And then 2015, I think it started to become real because it was like, oh, next year is 2016. It's the games, and you have a year out, 100 days out, and all of the things. And it just was the natural next thing. Like everybody just knew that's what we were going for.
Is it just like there are certain races that you have to enter into?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
So,
so
then
we-
for Team USA to.
Yeah, so I got to go on my first Team USA trip because I went to a selection race, which was actually my first paracycling race. And I only went because I was like, I don't know if I even qualify as paracyclist because each parasport has different classifications and each classification has different requirements, for lack of a better word, of what classifies you in
Mhm.
that category. So I didn't even know if I would or not. And then I did, and I got invited to Spain. And then that was just like, whoa, okay, I can do this. I want to do all of it.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
for game specific, we have a couple years before the games, we have to work to get start right allocations, meaning the size of the team that's determined for the games.
Okay.
And for Rio, we got 7 start rights for the women's team. So then once you get the start rights, there's a process to basically get selected to that team. And in Rio, or for Rio, it was, if I remember correctly, a track spot. So you could get one at Track World Championships, maybe one road spot, and then all the rest were made at trials.
Okay.
Mm.
And I got it at trials, and it was just like amazing feeling. My parents were there, and my aunt and my cousin were there. Like it was just really cool to have that experience. But I also had to peak for that because I had to make the team. So I was more fit for trials than I was for the games, which was kind of a little bit of a bummer, but I still did well at the games. But it wasn't until I was training for Rio with my husband, Andrew, that I realized that I got to fulfill the little girl's dream of being a professional cyclist because that was the first dream I ever remember having.
Oh,
And so
you
for
did
me,
it!
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing!
Yeah.
amazing.
And so for me, Rio was extraordinary because of that. And then Paris was kind of similar, but we had a little bit of an easier selection process because we had track world championships and then we had basically ranking lists from 2 of the World Cup races and trials. So we had multiple races where you can make the list to make the team.
When you said you did able and para.
Yes.
What was the big difference was there a difference in community? Did you feel a difference in mindset, or kind of same squad, different deal?
Oh man. It's different. I think that there's pros and cons for each, but it's also all disciplines. Like mountain biking is one kind of community where it's just fun and have a good time and like everybody's family. Track is a little bit different too, where it's kind of similar to mountain bike, but it's slightly different because you have a little bit of the road side, and then road is its own community, and then gravel is its own community, and para is its own. So it's different, but it's the same. And there's things that I like about both, and there's things that I don't like about both. And I don't want to get myself in trouble by saying the things I don't like.
100% understand.
100%.
Cut it, Harry.
Yeah.
But it's nice because like for both scenes, you get the female side of it and the community of being with the girls, but also the camaraderie of being with the guys, and also the trash talk, because I love trash talk and I grew up with boys in the mountain bike community, so like you had to hold your own. And then para is nice too, because you kind of have that community of like, we've been through some shit and we get it.
Yeah. What is your mindset like going into Rio versus Paris?
Gosh, I think Rio was just excited to get to go.
Yeah.
Because I didn't truly understand what the Paralympics was and what it meant.
Yeah.
And so that was just pure excitement for getting to do something that big. Paris was excitement, but there was also a little bit of anticipation because I was supposed to go to Tokyo and I couldn't go to Tokyo. So Paris was true excitement, but at the same time, there was nerves and anxiety because I didn't want to get hurt beforehand like I did in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that going into it. So much so I didn't even realize until after the time trial where I felt like I could finally take a full breath and just chill.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So like what can you tell some of our listeners like what that was like for you from going from Tokyo to Paris? Like that mental health journey of like, did you have a team with you? Like how did you kind of bounce back from something like that and then also win gold?
Yeah. So
Oh, and
by the way, win gold.
Which is here in the room
Which
with
is here
us.
in the room with us now.
Tokyo was really hard because I was really excited. I was the fastest female qualifier at trials for Tokyo. I got nominated for an SB for best female with a disability. So I was on cloud whatever through the roof. And then I got hurt on a training ride, fractured my skull in 2 spots, had a traumatic brain injury, and just crumbled. So I had a lot of people literally pick me up and help me back to the place I could be. And I didn't know if I wanted to keep racing or riding a bike. At the time in the hospital, I think I said that I never wanted to ride a bike again. And then the next day I was asking if that meant I didn't get to go to Tokyo. So
I think
Okay, she was
always ride a bike.
processing. You were
Yeah. But there was one point after finding out that I wasn't going to get to go to Tokyo where it was just like, I wanted to focus on Paris, but at the same time, wasn't sure if I wanted to race my bike, wasn't sure if I could mentally handle it. And Andrew was actually the one who encouraged me to do one race because he said he didn't want me to wonder what if. If I walked away from the sport, he would be supportive. If I wanted to keep doing it, he would be supportive. But he didn't want me to not do it and always have that wonder. So I went to a paracycling race, and the first race was time trial, and I was in the start house, and I actually remember being asked by somebody how I was feeling which wasn't the best timing considering I was about to start a race.
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
I will not name names.
No, I know.
Hey, how
HR.
are you?
Hey.
Off record.
Hey, girl, I heard you took a tumble.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's basically
You
what
ready
it
to
was.
get back
How
up
you
there
doing?
again?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, cool, thanks. I'm gonna go now. And so like I don't know that I fully processed that I was in that race until about a minute and a half into the race. But I knew before halfway through that I loved it and I wanted to keep doing it. And this was where I was meant to be. And then I finished the race and I turned right to go to the parking lot where we were all parked. And I stopped on the sidewalk and I laid my bike down and I just bawled.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I can still feel it, and I can still remember feeling somebody running behind me and then coming around to give me a hug, and it was Andrew, like hugging and crying
Okay,
with
husband
me.
of the pod.
what
Okay.
is-
He is a husband of the pod.
Husband of the pod.
It's decreed. What is his sign?
He's a Scorpio,
Oh my God. What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Oh my God.
Okay, my partner also a Scorpio.
Oh, I
birthday
like
coming
it.
up.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Romantic man.
When's his birthday?
Her birthday is this Wednesday, so she's literally on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio.
Katie, what
Yeah.
are you doing here? You should be
Yeah.
preparing.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know that I came here from buying birthday supplies, made an appointment for the birthday celebration
Okay.
in my car? So,
Okay.
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 You deserve a gold medal, which we
Yes.
have.
Which we have in
Yes.
the
And if you need birthday gift help, I'm very competitive with gifts.
Oh my God,
Oh
I
my
love that.
gosh, I love
Competitive
that.
with everything, I have a feeling.
Yes, but like I realize that gifts are a little bit more of my love language than I actually want to admit because I like seeing people smile. Even if even if it's something I make, I like seeing them smile and I like knowing that I gave that smile.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I live for the like
Oh, I live for the
Aunt
gift.
Sam won gifts of Christmas or like all
Yeah.
those things.
Your family
right?
gives out awards like that?
Oh no, but I do. yeah, I have
So
ribbons
this is
all
the
over the
mindset.
place.
So like,
It is
like
it's the
Aunt
mindset.
Sam all over the wall.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Actually, I have been told that Aunt Sam won Christmas once. So
Oh!
once or twice.
Okay.
Which I'm very, very happy.
And your
about.
eyes are
So-
like twinkling.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Just
I-
so the viewer
Yes.
knows.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
And that
It's-
medal
it's
is in the room with
glorious.
this one
Right,
now.
it's the medal. Yeah, exactly. I'm just writing everything on the back of it. Like it's not just the time trial; it's all the
100%.
Yeah.
So what was that Paris gold medal winning experience like?
Oh, everything. I still can't put it all into words because it's taken on additional meanings throughout the whole time. But winning that time trial just was instant joy and instant relief together.
Oh.
And I just started bawling and I'm not a cute crier. Let's just face it. They have photos of like all of the other winners, like arms up, flags behind them, and here I am bawling red face, trying to go hug my Swanee at the time. Like it's a great photo, but also a terrible photo. But
I think if you win a gold medal, you can look however the fuck you want.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I
You
looked at all
know.
of them. I looked at all of them.
Good,
But
good.
I had fun with it because it was just like it meant something more than just a gold medal and just being first in the world. It meant all of the hardship, all of the journey was worth it, I guess. I mean, it was still
Mhm.
worth it regardless, but let's be real. I would have been truly devastated if I did not win the time trial because that was what I was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was just something that I can look at that can bring back all of the feelings of all of the highs and all of the lows and truly like feel light from dark. And for
Ugh.
me, when I got hurt, I couldn't watch any of the Olympics. I couldn't watch any of the Paralympics, summer
Mhm.
and winter. And there's this art form that they do in Japan where if something's broken, they literally put it back together and they put pieces or like gold through it, which makes the pottery more beautiful. And that was one of the things that I focused on
Oh.
to help get better because it was like I'm putting the pieces back together and it's going to be more beautiful and I feel like a better person because of what happened. And I don't know that I do know that I never would have got to the person I am today had that not happened. So for me, like the gold medal is literally the gold pieces that put me back together.
Oh.
And so like being on the podium, it was my mom and brother helping me every day for a month after I got hurt. My husband coming home and helping me when I can't stop crying hysterically. My dog cuddling next to me and trying to go after people if he thinks they're getting too close because I'm hurt. My family sending pictures of the kids to make me smile, coming over to take me to ice cream, take me to the beach and go to a surprise painting class. Like all of those things are that medal because I wasn't just by myself. And then I bring the medal places like this and everybody gets to see it. And like, I feel like I touched somebody's life in some way, even if it's just that they got to see a medal and touch it. So for me, seeing the medal is like, I'm touching people's lives and making them inspired to do something or just smile because they got to see something truly incredible.
Hell,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
That's so beautiful.
I mean, I want to watch that movie. I want to read that memoir.
I
I mean,
you said
I am working on that.
yes, good.
okay, who would you want?
Have
Okay, who would
to.
you want to cast?
Oh no, I don't know about a movie, but I was going to do the memoir first and then have
Okay.
the memoir turned into a movie.
Yeah, but
I
if you
don't
were to have a
know.
movie, who would you want?
And who plays your husband?
Who plays your husband? And who plays you? Who plays your dog? Me.
I love it.
Who plays the helmet? Me.
Me. Who plays the bike?
ER.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, you can think on that.
I like Jennifer Aniston because I think she's
Yes!
amazing actress. So, like, and she's beautiful. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
see
she
it.
could do me more justice than myself sometimes.
I see
That,
it.
that is a good one.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
a-
that's perfect.
That's perfect.
No, but my husband, I don't know, man. Oh, that's a rough one.
You could do kind of whatever you
Yeah,
want.
you really can do whatever
Yes,
you
I
want.
know.
It's your, it's your
It's
return.
your
It could be
story.
fucking Shaquille O'Neal.
Please cast Shaquille
Please
O'Neal.
cast, because I would love to see him on a bike.
Could you imagine? Oh, good
You
one.
picked
I'm gonna
The
have to think
Rock.
about that. I love The Rock. He is such a great
See, that's what I'm
actor.
saying.
See, this is what you could do.
And he's got the butt like my husband. So
Oh!
The only historical accuracy that matters is for the lead. I
Yes.
firmly believe
All
that.
Yeah.
right, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Everyone else around you can kind of shift. and
Yeah,
move
yeah.
However
Perfect.
you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're just saying.
So
Yeah.
thank you for writing a memoir, but are you thinking that LA could be in your
Oh,
future?
absolutely.
Yeah.
LA was in my future when it became a host, one of the cities for a bid for 2024.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and then when we found out that it was 2028, I looked at Andrew and I was like, "Can I go 5 more years?" And he was like, "Duh."
Oh, cool.
So, okay, so that's what you're.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it's fun to have you in here because I think that across all sports, when people like when they don't win the thing, they're like, it just is so fucking awesome. I got to be there, and blah 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 blah. But when you get a gold medalist in here,
No,
it's so funny to hear someone say like, it would have sucked if I had not won that.
It definitely would have. Yes. And like it would have been even harder too because like when I came back in 2022, I won every paracycling road race and time trial that year,
Holy shit!
and I was a world champion like just over a year after being hurt to the day.
So it would have been weirder if you hadn't won.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd won up
everything.
until that point. I'd won every time trial paracycling that I had done since I got hurt.
When you're out there on the
Jeez.
course by yourself, how are like because how are you? Are you just racing against yourself? How do you know how fast you need to be going? Are you just like going as fast as you can?
Yeah. Who do you hear?
Yeah, who do you hear? What
Yeah.
are you saying to like keep you since you don't have like someone that you're physically racing?
Well, I actually literally have somebody in my ear because I have a follow car and my coach is in my ear
Oh,
telling me
okay.
like turn
Did
coming
it-
up or a cyclist on the road or a car. And sometimes if we're lucky, there's intermediate checkpoints where you can kind of get
Like you're behind like a
intermediate
second or
standings.
ahead of
yeah.
a okay.
Yeah. So the first intermediate
Oh.
checkpoint, I was actually 3 seconds behind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you? But did that make you nervous?
No, it just made me like, okay, we have to go like
yeah.
Okay.
up to gear. But I kind of like was strategic with how I rode that time trial because there was a section that was harder and that was after the first intermediate checkpoint. So I wasn't actually that worried at the first intermediate checkpoint. I was more so pissed off that I was behind and that I wasn't ahead by a lot more because I don't want to just be ahead. I want to be ahead by a lot.
This is a champion.
I mean, this aligns
This
with
is
what
a
we
champion.
have learned about you in this time.
This is cool.
This is a very cool. Okay.
What are there more like it feels like the obvious answer would be the straightaways, but is there a most fun or interesting part of the course for you?
Oh gosh, no.
Okay.
No, because
The whole thing.
you're just in position to try to be as aerodynamic as possible, which means that you don't really see much of anything.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, where
Yes.
are your eyes?
Wait, what are you doing? How
Because you're leaned forward and your eyes, like your head is straight down, but your eyes are up. So it's almost like you're looking into your forehead, which is why I was wearing such a silly helmet, because you
Okay.
actually have to be
Not
able to
silly,
see when
Not
you're laying
silly.
down.
not
Silly, but fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like
Okay, yeah.
I like the fun in it because I have to have fun with it to really truly go fast.
You
I feel
look like an invader from space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like one.
It looks
I
amazing.
felt like a fighter jet.
We're gonna
Yeah.
wear that.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
wear that helmet at Dyke Day in this upcoming Pride.
Yeah, huge.
I'm getting it painted gold. So.
Yeah.
You have to.
Oh yeah, when I won my first world championships, Andrew said I could go ham with the stripes because for cycling you get a jersey that has all 5 colors of the Olympic rings across the jersey. We call it the rainbows. So you get a rainbow jersey that you get to wear for that year because you're the best in the world.
Wow.
And so I won the time trial and the road race. So I got to wear it on any bike besides any bike on the road. You don't wear it in the disciplines you don't earn it in because it's just a respect for the jersey.
Yeah.
So I got to wear it on my TT bike and my road bike, and I went ham and got everything I could stripes except for my bikes and my helmets.
Why?
Too much time.
Okay.
Yeah, too much time to try to get that all figured out.
Is there rules on what you can and can't put on the helmet? Like,
Yes and no.
okay.
Yeah, because once you go back to world championships, once you're there, nobody's a world champion. So you can't wear the
Got it.
jersey.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You can't have your bike or your helmet too decked out. Like you can have some stripes, but I don't really know how all of the rules and the nuances to it. I just know you can't wear a jersey because technically once you're there, you're not world
it's a
champion
reset.
until you
It's a
earn
reset.
it again.
Okay.
Right.
How expensive is the helmet? How much does that helmet cost?
I don't know because I make my husband buy everything.
That's good.
Okay, that's
Okay,
that's
that's
a
really
good
good.
answer. That's
Husband
even
of the
better.
pod.
Husband of the pod.
He
Huh?
is really fantastic. I lucked out with him because he is also the aero nerd.
Oh.
And the reason why I do bike fits because he knows shameless plug for Bosco Bike Fits because he is a professional bike fitter.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
no, do it, please.
Awesome.
Yeah, but he definitely knew when we first met that I needed a bike fit, and he loves it so much, and he just doesn't want to see me in pain because I would still have pain riding bikes,
Yeah.
and I still do occasionally, but it's not as bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's where his love for that really kind of intensified to the point where I pushed him a little bit into doing bike fits because he's really good at it and he
Uh-huh.
loves geeking out on all of that stuff. So I just ride the bike. I'm starting to geek out a little bit more because
Yeah.
the aero stuff is really cool, but
So
It took me a minute.
When you say bike fit, just for our listeners
Yeah.
who might not, is it just like custom fitting the bike to your exact aerodynamic maximum?
basically
Okay.
it's like if you go into a store and you buy a pair of shoes that are too big for you, you don't buy those shoes. You
Right.
buy
Yeah.
shoes that fit you well.
Mhm.
Every body is different. Biomechanically, we're all different. Goal-wise, we're all different. So he sits down with people and gets all over their goals, gets all over their history, gets all of the have you had this injury? And even how you sit at work. Do you sit all day or do you stand? Those kind of things. And then goes in and does a biomechanical assessment to get your range of motion for your body. That way, once you get on the bike, all of that is in parameters that fit you. So then you optimize your bike fit for the goals you
Holy
have and how
shit.
your body works.
That's incredible.
That's
Do you think he could fit our microphones?
Probably. Yeah.
Is he
I mean, it sounds
is he
like
the
a good-
little
yeah,
bag
yeah.
with the gold medal?
I wish.
That would be
I would take him everywhere
awesome.
if I could, just like magic. But
Yeah.
he probably would give you a hard time for sitting on couches and chairs instead of something that's more ergonomical.
What should
I'd
we-
tell him to send
T-
something.
yeah, should I
Right?
be?
Yeah.
I will sit. I will sit on
literally sit on
anything he
anything.
sends.
I never stop moving when I'm sitting, and I
Right.
would love to talk to him about
How
why.
you get more
Yeah.
aerodynamic?
Yeah, when I
Perfect. Perfect. Helmets. Yes.
helmets. I need more
Wow.
helmets.
You can borrow the gold one after I have it painted. He did say I could go ham on the gold, so
Yeah.
we'll see. It might. We have to figure out.
Is it
what's-
going to be shiny?
What's towing the line of too gaudy? I hope so.
No,
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Gotti,
what?
you
Gotti,
only live
have to go.
once.
You have to.
You won
You have
gold.
to. Like,
You are gold.
yes.
There's this. Okay, so the guy who won the Olympic and time trial and road race,
Mhm.
Remco Vanderpoel, he has
Great
gold
name.
bikes. They're so beautiful.
Can
I
you-
got to see one at Worlds this year, and I was like 10 feet away, but there were a bunch of people just guarding the bike. And it was
Oh my god.
Do
beautiful.
Bosco bikes paint?
Ooh, no.
No, not yet. Okay. Well,
No.
it's time for your Andrew to
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah.
Wow, found a weakness in
Working
Andrew's
on it.
story.
He hears it. He like.
we're powder coating everything.
Yeah. We are part of the Fandrews.
Yeah, we're Fandrews.
We are
Oh, I like
Fanders.
that. I like
Mhm.
that.
Okay, so now so in between Paralympics, you're constantly racing, constantly training. You're just biking all the time.
Yes, except for right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the first time that I actually get a bona fide off season.
What are you gonna
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with myself.
do?
Travel, bike somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah,
I
travel.
took like 4 days off, 5 days off this last week, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to ride my bike, but I don't want to do intervals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until I actually want to ride hard and do intervals, the group ride aside, because I love going and talking to people, and I feel like that's my release every week. Until I want to do a hard ride, I don't necessarily have to ride my bike. So I do different things, move my body in other ways.
Mhm.
We're still figuring out the travel part.
It's never too late to learn how to scooter.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. Very much. I tried standing on a skateboard and having Andrew push me. It doesn't even work.
Oh
No.
my god.
I even tried sitting on said skateboard and promptly fell off. So this girl is too old to scooter.
When you do travel for pleasure, do you take time to bike while you're traveling? Because in my mind,
Yeah, are we
I'm
ever gonna see you on like a beach cruiser? Like what's it like?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
you and Andrew in tandem.
I wish beach cruiser tandems, probably not. I have funny stories about tandems.
Okay.
Okay.
Both times we've been on a tandem have not been that pretty.
I love that you have.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But honestly, the last time I took a trip that was not for a bike race with like some travel days around it was for my honeymoon.
Oh.
And that was 9 years ago. So yeah, I would
Where'd you go?
love Hawaii.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Stunning.
It was so good. And we didn't rent a car, which was great. And we made friends with a local there who took us to the best shave ice on the island.
Oh,
Only because I gave him a hard time because he was a tour guide and told us about it, but it wasn't open. And I was like, you can't tell us about the ice cream and not take us. Like, that's
Yeah.
rude. So he took us the next day.
Nice.
It was great. We like loved him because we even sent kits to his wife because she was doing triathlons. So it was
oh my
great.
god,
Yeah.
amazing.
But then the last time that I remember, like, I got to travel without my bike to the Women's Sports Foundation annual salute this past week.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like I was forgetting something. The whole time I was like, oh no, I don't have something. There's something wrong. And it was
Wow.
just my bike. So
That's all it was.
yeah, but I would love to go on a trip, sans bikes, and just enjoy. But I don't know where that is yet.
What do
That's
you
exciting.
think? What do you think are the qualities? I mean, some qualities that you're proud of, but what do you think are the qualities that make you such an incredible competitor?
I'm stubborn
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and I'm very strong-willed, and I don't like people telling me I can't.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are there cyclists now coming up that you've like got your eye on, worried about?
or are excited about? Is there like sort of like a-
Okay, yeah, excited about.
So-
In my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you gonna beat?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. But
There's always a little bit of worry because
Yeah.
there's always wanting to keep doing the sport. Like I love the people I've met and the friends I've made and the places I've gotten to go because of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anytime there's somebody new, it's always a little bit of like, oh, like a little bit of, is she going to take that away from me?
Yeah, we can be friends later, but right
Yeah.
now it's sussing.
But I think
people
that's
out.
human nature too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't want to stop racing my bike and I don't want to keep having these experiences and I don't want somebody to threaten that.
yeah,
But at the same time, if I feel threatened, I'm just going to work harder because I don't want people to beat me. I only want to
Obsessed.
beat myself. Like I want to be better today than I was yesterday, and I want to be better tomorrow than I was today. Like I
Yeah.
always am striving probably
love
too
this.
much to
I do
try
too.
to work
Yeah.
harder. But at the same time, I love when there's women on the group rides, and I love that when there's women's racing and the fields are big. So like as scary as it is to have somebody new come on and you're like, "Ooh, I don't know, like is she going to be better than me?" There is a
Uh-huh.
little bit of like I hope she is and I want to be stronger to be better than her, and then we can lift each other up.
Mm.
Because I think like multiple people from the same team can be on the podium.
That's so
You
cool.
want
I
the
feel like-
whole podium to be
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
A sweep would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it a
See, that's the
possibility
type
for
of-
LA?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, we'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
I think that's just such like a gracious competitiveness.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
love
Yes,
that
yeah.
so much. And like when you're what is the camaraderie like with like international folks? Like what is that like? Do you see the same people? Do you have a rivalry?
Yeah.
You know, like what is that like when you're on?
I had coffee with my rival in Switzerland.
Okay,
so-
this
Oh,
is see,
cool.
this is fantastic.
Well, you're the only two who understand being at the very top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like you make friends and there's a community where like we do good, and I'm proud of the people that get on the podium too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was super proud of my podium mates from the time trial. We hugged, we joked, we had a good time.
Yeah.
But there's also the understanding that when we're on a bike race, it's whoever crosses the line first. And I think that I like that aspect of it because it's like, yes, we can be competitive, but at the same time, we can also be friends,
Yeah.
have coffee, hang out, text each other between. Like I traded gear, Paralympic gear with a friend of mine from Canada who's been my friend
Nice.
for years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that announcing is in your future?
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be really fun to announce. And I think when people watch para sports, they don't know enough about it. And there's
Mhm.
not enough knowledge in commentators to know all of the nuances, especially about para sport, that I
Yeah.
think para athletes, whether they're retired or not, would make hugely great commentators because of that knowledge base.
What are some things? This is a complicated question, and I'm sorry for the lack of time you have to do this. But what are some things you wish the audience knew about parasports? Like just some things off the top of your head.
Oh, like paracycling. And first off, people don't know what makes each category.
Mm-hmm.
So they see a group of people, like our road race, we're combined in the road race for the games because there's not enough medals to go around. So at Worlds, each category has its own medals, but at the games, they have to be combined for certain events because there's not enough medals to go around. So for our road race,
Wow.
the women's C5 and the women's C4 race together. So I was fourth overall, but I was the first C4. So if it was Worlds, I would have won a world championship even if I was fourth overall.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But at the games, that's not the same. So we wear different color helmets. And I don't think people even know that because the helmets signify what category you are. So I wear a white helmet because I'm a C4, but if I was a C5, I'd wear a red helmet. That's the difference there. The difference is in the impairments they have because for us, upright bikes are classed from a C5 to a C1, C5s being most functional. So they could be missing opposable thumbs or missing part of their arm.
Mm-hmm.
C4s could be missing lower limbs, could have a traumatic brain injury that has permanent damage that impairs their ability to ride a bike, things like that doesn't get talked about enough in between all of the commentating of the actual race. Because I think that stuff is fascinating.
Yeah,
I think
Absolutely.
like
yeah.
watching different sports is amazing. Like wheelchair rugby alone.
Yes.
Come
was
on. They're
awesome.
It's
literally
awesome.
going after each other.
Yeah.
And wheelchair basketball, they're strapped in too. So like
Yeah.
they can fall and get knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to watch.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
really
It is.
cool stuff.
It does feel like the audience for Paralympics is growing, and I hope
Yeah.
it continues
Same.
continues to grow.
And I
Same.
think you're right. I think that with the we have found with Jockular that our fan base was people who wanted to like sports or who liked sports but was missing a little bit of the behind the scenes,
Mhm.
and that's what we've really tried to do here. And I do think that Paralympics is missing that exact thing that you're talking
Mhm.
about, where
Yeah.
I want to know more about the rules.
Right.
I want to know more about the athletes.
Yeah.
I want to know as much as I can, because I think when people have the knowledge, they can get way more
Mhm.
into the activity itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to listen to. Like we had Super Worlds in 2023 in Glasgow,
A cool name.
right? Right.
It is.
And it was really cool because all of the cycling disciplines were together,
Oh, cool.
which was incredible because a lot of the para sports also don't get a lot of spectators. They don't get a lot of airtime. But when you put them with the elite sports, we get more airtime. And we had a commentator from Great Britain, Barney, who is phenomenal and just talks about everybody, knows a lot about paracycling. He's been involved in the sport for a long time. And you can tell, and it just engrosses you even more into watching the race because you get to learn about the disabilities, what paracycling is all about, and the background of all the athletes because he tells the stories of the athletes also.
That's how you
people-
get
yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
That's how my dad tricked me into liking golf. was
Perfect.
It's the stories.
telling me
Yeah,
the
it
stories
is the
of the
stories.
golfers.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough of those stories because I
Right.
think that as a Paralympian and as a woman and as somebody who has disability, my story is incredible, but I'm not the only one who has an incredible story.
Right.
They're just not being told.
Does language around disability change depending on what country you're in? I mean, obviously, of course, other than the language itself changing, like talking there, I know there are some Canadians that prefer differently abled, and then we have
Yeah.
the disability community here, and so I'm wondering across your
Yeah.
experience, how much that is different.
Good question. I don't know that I've paid attention to that because I feel like we don't ever talk about things like that. Like it's just a
Interesting.
thing. Like we're just
Yeah.
who we are. Sometimes when you find somebody new in the sport, you're like, hey, what's your story?
Mhm.
But you don't say, how did you get hurt or what's your disability? Like you have a few people who just like are true jerks.
Yeah.
Like I had somebody once look me up and down and count out my limbs out loud
No.
and then ask what was wrong with me. And I was like, okay, that's weird.
Name names. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna find.
Wow.
We're gonna
them.
find
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but like you have, and like that with able body too, because I've gone on the plane and tried to get on early when my ankle's really sore, and I've had people be like, "You're not disabled," so
Oh,
it's
boy.
across the board. But in general, like you don't even say disability. You don't think stuff like that, and so I think yes, it changes. Like Canadians like differently abled. I don't like saying
Yeah.
disability. I don't like saying I am disabled because I'm not disabled. I have a disability. So I
Mhm.
think the way that it's said also changes the mindset because I also think that while it's gotten better, society as a whole sees disability as disability, not that person has a disability or has something wrong with them. And let's face it, we all have something wrong with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Preach.
I think a good rule of thumb, I think, is leading person first
Yeah.
language.
Yes.
Talk to you, get to know you.
Yeah.
If your disability comes up and you'd like
Yeah.
to discuss it,
Yeah.
that's where it is. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
person first is where we.
Right.
But
I like a lot of my favorite like disability feminist authors will say you are not born with a disability, but you'll certainly die with one.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah,
are
yeah,
all
yeah.
on it. We
Absolutely.
will all
Yeah.
experience disability in our lifetime.
Absolutely. When we all experience adversity, I mean, how many
Yes.
people grew up not wanting to do their homework?
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
I also think that we're too scared to ask questions.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
too scared to look dumb. Like I've had people just stare at my leg, and it's like, just ask me what happened. But
Yeah.
little kids do it so perfectly because they're
They
just like,
do.
what's wrong? Even if they say what's wrong, like, yeah, it might not be the best way to say it, but at least they've asked the question versus like, oh, look, did you see her leg?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, very true.
That's really, really cool. Do you coach?
No,
Are you gonna?
maybe.
You've got a
You
great.
don't have
But
to.
yeah, you don't have
Listen.
I keep asking you if you're like gonna become an announcer, if you're gonna coach, because I do think that you have that. There's like something really kind of special
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you. You can tell how like you're calm, but you're determined. You got a little sparkle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to
thank
get
you.
out of
Cool.
here and
Thank
do
you.
something.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you've got
you.
all that, but you're also in your
you.
prime, baby.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I'm excited
Yeah.
to see
Thank you.
Worlds and following you through all of those and into
Yes.
LA.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time
Yeah,
to come here and
absolutely.
share your story
Truly,
with
truly
us.
enjoyed it.
And
we have a huge question.
I feel like, well, should we ask it? Can we see her?
yeah, show us your baby.
Oh my God, it was in there the whole time?
I knew it was in the
Okay.
fanny. I knew it was in the fanny
Oh
pack.
my gosh. Okay, wait.
Her name is Vivi.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi,
fly.
Vivi.
Hi, Vivi.
She's short for voler vite, which I think I'm saying correctly. It's French for fly fast. It could be voler vite. I'm not sure if the R is actually silent or not, but I feel like every French
They don't
word has been
pronounce
different.
anything.
So the
Yeah.
R is silent.
The V is probably silent.
Yeah.
It probably is.
May I?
No. I
Okay.
just
I
got
want
it.
my
Just-
hand.
Hey guys.
She
just
slaps her
teasing.
hands.
Wow.
I almost dropped it immediately. It's so heavy.
Yes. 529 grams. We
I
in
thought
a
you were
little
And
Louis
that's
pounds.
Vuitton pouch.
Oh, and
it's just
this
a little
is
pouch because we got a big case. It's about the size of a piece of paper because they actually have paper in it that even includes the authenticity for the piece
Wow.
of the Eiffel Tower in the middle. But it also has a paper that like describes the whole creation of the medal, which is really cool. But it's a big case that I feel like I'm carrying a textbook around when I carry it in the case.
Is there a black market for these?
Oh gosh, I hope not.
This is a weapon.
It is very much
it's
a
beautiful
weapon.
on the
Yes.
back. You don't.
Yes.
I've never seen the back of
Wow.
one.
Yes, yes, and they're different
this is so
than the Olympic
beautiful.
counterparts.
Oh, okay.
Because those show the Eiffel Tower as if you were looking up from underneath.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay.
This is amazing.
And they're all different each games because
You have medals
I-
from Rio?
I do. I have 2 bronze medals from Rio, and I
Yeah.
thought they were broken when I first got them because
Stop.
they had pieces in them so that when you shook it, it made a different pitch based off the color so that the visually impaired athletes can know what color they're
Oh my
holding.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
really
awesome.
So when I got on the stand and it moved around, I was like, oh no, it's broken.
You're like,
I have
it's
to get a new
broken.
one. Yeah.
No one told me
Yeah,
that it was
yeah.
supposed to be.
Harry, do you
Harry.
want to touch it?
Harry, come on.
Harry, come on.
It's
Wow, It's
awesome.
really cool.
I love it.
Does it
Wow.
hang or you just put it in the case and you put it away?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't put it in the case yet because I want to take it everywhere and be like, look at this. It's so cool. Like I want to share it.
It's such an
Um,
honor.
Which
It's
I'm also a
beautiful.
little terrified of because like I
Did
feel
they
like
see
it
him on
can't be
camera?
replaced.
Oh yeah, can you hold it? Yes. This one.
This one. Wait.
This one right here in front of you. This one.
That one.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
So
that's the back.
cool.
The back is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think
Thank you.
eventually
Thank
it
you.
will be framed on the wall. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I'm sure you have so many awards.
Yes.
That you need
Do you
an
have
awards
like an award
room.
room? Yeah. You do have an award room. Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
no, actually,
I'm gonna call Andrew
Most
and get him to
times-
make one.
yeah, right. Actually, to his credit, here we go again. Oh, dang it.
You like the guy.
I do like the guy. Whenever
Yeah.
I say he is the better half, I truly mean he is the better half because he puts up with a lot of stuff for me too.
Does he have a gold medal though?
He has a gold medal in being a husband.
Oh,
But he
Oh.
Thank you. But he also has a 7-foot trophy
Oh my god.
Wait.
that he won at a BMX race at BMX Grands
Okay,
in
cool.
Tulsa
That's
at
pretty
the end of the
friggin'
year. So
sick.
like
Wow.
it's their national championship basically.
Uh-huh.
And he won the first year back. He won and he got this trophy that's like 7 feet. And then he went the next year and got another one. And I'm super proud of him because he broke his femur that year.
Oh my.
Yeah. So to have him go back and get it was amazing. And I was really kind of upset that I wasn't there because I was at Parapan, which it
Uh-huh.
was really funny because he raced the same day that I raced the 3K and I qualified for the gold medal round. And we had talked in between, but I didn't get to see his finals. Like I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to watch his races as I'm warming up.
Oh.
And I watched that he won and then I go and I win. And it was kind of unexpected because I qualified second.
Uh-huh.
But I dropped like 5 seconds from qualification to finals, which is really difficult to do on the velodrome. I actually PR'd my 3K that day. And so we're on the phone and he FaceTimes me and I'm just excited because I already knew he won. And he's just like, you could tell he's so excited. And then he's like, well, how'd you do? And like, it was so loud there that I just put up 1. And he was like, no way. And so he got all excited. And I was like, and I PR'd. And so he was really excited too. But as he said goodbye, you could hear, I tried to tell my wife I won, but then she had to go and one up me in PR and win hers. So he has his trophies in the house too. But
You all
need a
are
room.
made for each other.
Yes.
we absolutely were. But I used to put my medals away. Like most people, they say they put their medals in a sock drawer. But like,
Oh yeah, that's
you
where
find
mine
a spot
are.
and you just put them away.
Yeah.
And he finally got me to put them on the walls.
Good.
So
Good deal.
we'll
Good
probably put this
job.
on the wall. I think I want to get one of the jerseys and have everybody who was part of the journey sign it and put that and then put the medal in front of it.
Gotta have a room for this.
We need a room.
I'm working on it. I gotta buy a house with
Okay.
a room first.
Okay, fair.
We have one serious question for you that
Yes.
we can't let you
We always
leave
ask.
without
We ask
asking.
everyone.
Oh boy.
So there's a thing called it's competitive slapping.
Okay.
People stand across from each other. They lock their feet into position, and based on
Yeah.
a draw of who gets to go first, they slap. Who would you want to slap you? And it cannot be Andrew.
My brother.
Really?
Wow.
I really want to do the tortilla challenge.
Oh yeah.
With my brother?
Yeah.
Really do. But my brother and I are also very competitive. Like, we were playing chess one day and both Andrew and his fiance were in the other side of that room, just quiet. And we looked at it and we're like, what are you doing? And they're like, you're playing chess. We're not talking. My family's very competitive. So
you
I
want to
feel
be
like
love that.
slapped by your brother.
because I want to slap him back.
There
Yeah,
it is.
there it is.
There
I
it
want
is.
to
There it
make
is.
it sting.
That's
Yeah.
what we needed.
So I'm willing to take a slap from him.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like we would both be laughing and he would laugh first. So I feel like his slap wouldn't be as hard. And then I could slap full on.
You see this, folks? This is the heart of a
Yeah,
champion.
this is the heart of a
Champion.
gold medal.
heart of a champion.
Winning.
This has been amazing. I'm
Yeah.
just
Thank
so
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
so awesome
absolutely.
we got to meet you and so
Absolutely.
excited to follow you and
Absolutely.
every part of this.
I expect to be back here yearly for check-ins.
Yeah.
Look how I did.
And I
I'm good at
guess
inviting myself. See,
Yeah,
I
I love
guess-
step
it.
closer to asking if I could be a host. But
yeah.
Hey, next time the para games come around,
Are
if
you kidding me?
If you're
Yeah.
not whatever sport you're not competing in, you will come in and talk to us about
Yeah,
it.
too
Yes,
bad you'll be
please.
winning gold.
Yeah.
yes.
I guess we should end the podcast the same way that we always do when we have a Paralympian here. And I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the them who died and gave that right to me.
And I'll proudly stand up.
No.
And
That's
how you,
Jockular.
and that's how
That's
you
how you
set
do
a
it.
boundary.
Get her.
And that's how you set a boundary. Absolutely.
I told you no
Absolutely.
singing.
We
Absolutely.
couldn't even get the next to you.
Nope.
Oh.
That's
Thank
fair.
you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much.
You're
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.